Imagine an island where, ancient palaces just rise out of the jungle. You've got trains winding through these misty tea plantations, leopards roaming wild, and it's all just a stone's throw from amazing beaches. Sounds like a dream, right? Today, we're doing a deep dive into Sri Lanka. It's this island of, well, captivating contrasts. You have ancient history, those misty mountains, sun-kissed beaches, all converging. We've really poured through a ton of sources, everything from travel guides to data insights on what travelers are actually searching for. We want to bring you a comprehensive guide. Our mission isn't just a list of places. It's about pulling out the most important nuggets of knowledge, practical solutions, surprising facts, things to make your journey seamless, unforgettable. We'll navigate its cultural core, explore those emerald hills and diverse coastlines, venture into the Untamed Wild, and equip you with essential tips for a smooth trip. Okay, let's unpack this. Our journey kicks off in what people often call the cultural triangle. This is really the spiritual, the archaeological heart of Sri Lanka. But with so much history crammed in there, how do you even start? How do you decide where to focus?
That really is the key question, isn't it? Because you're literally stepping onto ground where ancient kings walk. You're seeing these monumental structures. It's a testament to this incredibly rich, complex past. My first thought for anyone going there is always Sigiriya, the Lion Rock Fortress. You almost have to start there.
Absolutely. And our sources definitely flag Sigiriya as the big one. UNESCO World Heritage Site, people call it the eighth wonder of the world. It just rises so dramatically from the plains. The climb itself, about 12,050 steps, sounds like quite a workout, but rewarding. Along the way, you see the huge lion's paw structure, those famous, really well-preserved frescoes of the Sigiriya damsels. But what's the real payoff for all that effort?
Well, the true reward, it's partly the climb itself, but it really hits you when you get to the top. The panoramic view is just breathtaking. You're standing among the ruins of a 5th century palace, looking out. It gives you this incredible sense of scale. And a practical tip, seriously, get there early. Aim to start the climb right when the ticket office opens at 7 a.m. You'll avoid the worst of the crowds and that really intense midday heat. It makes a huge difference.
Okay, 7 a.m. start. Got it. Sounds like smart advice for those views. But what if you wanted maybe a different perspective, like a picture of Sigiriya itself?
Ah, right. That's where Peter Ungala Rock comes in. It's a fantastic alternative, or maybe even a companion climb. It gives you this stunning, totally unobstructed view of Sigiriya. You see the Lion Rock framed against the landscape. It's maybe a bit more of a scramble, a more challenging climb in parts, sure.
Yeah.
But the photo opportunity is unique, and it's often a much quieter, more serene experience. And the entry fee is significantly lower, too.
Quieter, cheaper, unique view. That sounds like a great insider tip. Okay, moving just a short distance from Sigiriya, there's Dambulla, home to the largest, best-preserved cave temple complex in Sri Lanka. It sounds incredible. 5 sacred caves packed with over 150 Buddha statues and frescoes covering more than 2,100 square meters.
It's pretty amazing. Now, to reach the caves, it's a moderate climb, maybe around 350 stone steps. But the crucial thing here is the dress code. It's strict. You absolutely must cover your shoulders and knees, no exceptions. And remember to take off your shoes and any hats before you go into the complex. Oh, and here's a little comfort tip, something people often forget. Bring socks. Seriously, those stone pads get incredibly hot in the sun. Your feet will thank you later. It's a small thing, but it helps.
Socks. That is such a simple, genius tip. Easy to overlook. It's those little practical things that can really change your experience, isn't it? Okay, so beyond Sigiriya and Dambulla, our sources point to other ancient cities, too. For the real history buffs, this is where it gets, really interesting.
Precisely. If you dig a bit deeper, you get to Anuradhapura and Polonnaruwa. What's fascinating about Anuradhapura, for instance, isn't just the stupas, but the ancient engineering. Think about the huge reservoirs, the tanks. These weren't just for water. They were complex hydrological systems sustaining a civilization for over 1,000 years. It's mind-boggling, really. It's a sprawling sacred city. You got these massive stupas like Ruan Wilasaya and the Sri Mahabodhi tree, apparently the oldest historically authenticated tree in the world. You definitely need a full day to even begin to grasp Anuradhapura.
Wow, ancient engineering, that adds a whole other layer. So it's not just what you see, but the invisible infrastructure beneath it all. How does Polonnaruwa compare then?
Polonnaruwa offers a slightly different window into that golden age. It's generally considered better preserved in some ways, and it feels more compact. You can realistically see a lot in a half-day trip. That makes it a great day excursion if you're based near Sigiriya or Dambulla. You also see a distinct artistic style there, like the Galvihara statues, these huge Buddhas carved from a single slab of rock. It tells a different story than Anuradhapura. Okay, so leaving those ancient echoes behind, we're shifting gears. climbing up into the cool, misty Central Highlands. The scenery changes dramatically. Suddenly, it's all these endless emerald green tea plantations. And when you're up there, the Kandy to Yala train journey, I mean, everyone talks about it, consistently ranked one of the most beautiful train rides in the world. A real bucket list item for many visitors. Oh, it really is stunning. It just winds its way through these perfectly manicured tea estates, misty forests, little villages. The views are just, well, iconic. Now, for the best experience on that famous ride, our sources have some great practical tips. For the first part, Kandy to Udawalawe. Try to sit on the right side of the train. Then, if you can manage it, switch over to the left side for the next leg, from Udawalawe down to Yala. That way you maximize the best views along a whole route.
Right, then left. Okay. That's exactly the kind of specific tip that makes a difference. I can imagine easily missing out otherwise. You also mentioned it gets crowded and trains are often delayed. How much flexibility should someone build in if you're used to trains running like clockwork?
That's a really good point. Look, the trains are almost always delayed. Sometimes quite a bit, but that's just part of the rhythm there. Honestly, arriving maybe 15 minutes before the scheduled departure is usually plenty. Don't stress about timings too much. Just embrace the journey itself as part of the experience, not just getting from A to B. It adds to the charm, really.
Right, soak it in. Sounds like good advice. Okay, so once you're in the hill country, there are these two main hubs people talk about. Udawalawe, first often called Little England. It's right in the heart of the tea industry. You can do free tours of tea factories, sample fresh Ceylon tea. Sounds lovely. Plus, things like strolling around Lake Gregory or having a traditional high tea at the Grand Hotel. Seems very relaxed almost, colonial area.
It definitely has that vibe, yes.
Yeah.
Very genteel. Then, a bit further along, you've got Yala. And Yala is, well, it's quite different. Much more of a laid-back adventure hub. Really popular with backpackers and hikers. The big draws in Yala are probably the hikes. You've got Little Adams Peak, which is pretty easy, moderate, and then Yala Rock, which is more challenging. But both give you these absolutely spectacular panoramic views over the whole area, the mountains, the valleys, the tea plantations. It gives you that amazing perspective, but with a younger, more energetic feel than Udawalawe.
Okay, so two very different vibes in the hills.
Oh.
Got it. Now, after all that history and mountain air, maybe you're dreaming of the coast. Sri Lanka's beaches are incredibly varied. There seems to be something for everyone. And for a really unique coastal stop, our sources kept pointing towards Galle.
Yeah, Galle is special. It's not just a beach town. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. And walking into Galle Fort, it really feels like stepping back in time. You're wandering these narrow, cobbled streets, surrounded by Dutch colonial architecture. But it's a living city. Boutique hotels, art galleries, little cafes tucked into these old buildings. The whole atmosphere is captivating. It's this amazing blend of history and culture and feels totally different from the beach towns just outside the walls. Definitely worth a day trip or even staying overnight.
That sounds absolutely magical, like a living museum. But okay, if someone is after that classic beach experience, sun, sand, maybe some adventure, where should they look?
Well, Mirissa immediately comes to mind then. It's got a beautiful crescent-shaped beach, lovely vibe, but it's really famous globally for whale watching, especially blue whales. The best time for that is generally November to April. But, and this is really important, something our sources stressed, choose your tour operator carefully. Make sure they're licensed, that they keep a safe, respectful distance from the whales, and follow ethical practices. You want the experience to be amazing, but not at the animal's expense. Mirissa is also great for surfing and other water sports, too.
Ethical whale watching, definitely key. Okay, so what about for the real adrenaline junkies? Someone who wants their beach holiday packed with activity.
For that, Bentota is probably your best bet. It's known as a real fun-packed destination. They've got everything: jet skiing, banana boat rides, you name it. Plus, you can do these lovely mangrove boat safaris up the Bentota River. So it's a good mix if you want high-energy water sports balanced with a bit of nature.
Sounds like a blast. And finally, what about convenience? Say you're just arriving or about to fly out and need somewhere easy but still nice.
For that, the Gombo is perfect. Its big advantage is being really close to the main international airport, Bandar Nike. So it's a super convenient first or last stop. It's a fishing town, quite charming actually. Got a famous fish market, interesting canals. It gives you a nice laid-back introduction or conclusion to Sri Lanka without the intensity of Colombo. Just an easy place to ease in or wind down.
Okay, we've covered ancient sites, misty hills, diverse beaches. Let's venture into the wild side. Sri Lanka is a fantastic safari destination, incredible wildlife, and usually the first park people think of is Yala.
Yes, and for good reason. Yala has this huge reputation, internationally known for having the highest density of leopards anywhere in the world, which is pretty amazing. Our sources suggest the best time to try and spot them is the dry season, roughly February to June. That's when water sources shrink and animals congregate more predictably. The downside, it can get very crowded. That's a common challenge with popular parks worldwide, of course.
Right. So how do you deal with those crowds? Any tips for a better Yala experience?
The best advice is nearly always go early. An early morning safari, getting into the park pretty much as it opens, gives you the best chance of avoiding the worst of the jeep traffic. You get a head start, it's often cooler, and the wildlife can be more active. It really does pay to get up before dawn for that one. Timing is everything in a busy park like Yala.
That makes total sense. Essential safari advice. But what if leopards aren't your main focus? What if you really want to see elephants?
Then Udawalawe National Park is probably the place for you. It's famous for its large herds of Sri Lankan elephants. And unlike leopards, which can be quite elusive even in Yala, elephant sightings in Udawalawe are very frequent, very reliable. It's an excellent choice if elephants are high on your list. What's also great about Udawalawe is its location. It sits quite conveniently between the hill country and the southern coast, so it fits really easily into many standard itineraries without needing a major detour. Very practical.
That's a perfect example of how well-connected things can be. Speaking of connecting, or rather navigating those connections, our sources really emphasize that a smooth trip isn't just what you see, it's also about handling the practical stuff.
Exactly. To really get the most out of it, you need to think beyond the sights. A great trip means navigating the common hurdles, understanding a bit of the culture, and transport is often a big one.
For sure. Figuring out how to get around can seem daunting. Private drivers are often mentioned for comfort, especially for longer distances. They offer a pretty hassle-free way to cover ground efficiently.
They do, but for a more, let's say, authentic feel, and definitely more budget-friendly, you've got local buses, the trains we talked about, and of course, tuk-tuks. For short hops within towns or cities, tuk-tuks are everywhere. They're an experience in themselves. And a really useful tip, use ride-sharing apps like Uber or PickMe where available. They operate in many areas and help ensure you get a fair price, which takes the stress out of haggling. Always good to have that option.
Good call on the apps. Okay, health and safety. Standard precautions always apply when traveling. Our sources mention being up to date on shocks like hepatitis A, polio, tetanus. Anything else specific to Sri Lanka?
Well, the usual common sense stuff to avoid stomach upsets. Be careful with unpeeled fruit. Maybe avoid undercooked food if you're unsure. Stick to bottled water, of course. Also, mosquitoes. Dengue fever is present, so take precautions, especially around dawn and dusk. Use repellent, cover up when possible. In terms of crime, violent crime against tourists is rare. But like anywhere, opportunistic stuff can happen. Pickpocketing, minor scams. So, keep valuables secure, be aware of your surroundings, maybe use ATMs inside banks or hotels. Just standard travel smarts, really.
And speaking of scams, being aware of common ones can save a lot of hassle and money. Our sources detailed a few that pop up regularly. It's definitely worth having these on your radar. What should people look out for?
Right, the heads up list. Okay, first, tuk-tuk ripoffs. Classic scenario. The driver says the meter is broken just as you're getting in. Or they offer a super cheap tour, then hit you with a huge fare later. Prevention. Always, always insist on using the meter. If they refuse, find another tuk-tuk. Or agree on the total price clearly up front before you set off. Using those apps like Uber or PickMe avoids this hassle too.
Got it. Meter on or price agreed first. What's next?
Fake guides. You'll find people hanging around popular sites, acting like official guides. They'll start explaining things, then get quite putty about demanding payment. Prevention. Just politely but firmly decline any help you didn't ask for. If you do want a guide, check their official credentials first before agreeing to anything. Genuine guides usually have identification.
Okay, it makes sense. I know those stilt fisherman photos are iconic. Anything to be aware of there?
Yes, the stilt fisherman. That amazing image. Well, often these days, it's more of a performance for tourists than actual fishing. They'll pose and then expect payment for photos. Prevention. Just be aware it's often commercialized. If you want a photo, it's best to agree on a price before you take it. Or simply enjoy the sight from a distance. It prevents any awkwardness.
Right. Manage expectations there. Any others?
One more common one. Spice garden sales. You might get offered a free, interesting tour of a spice garden. But frequently, it ends with a very high-pressure sales pitch for spices or herbal remedies at inflated prices. Prevention. Enjoy the free tour, learn something, but feel absolutely no obligation to buy anything afterwards. Just politely decline if you're not interested. Don't feel pressured.
Those are super helpful warnings. Good things to know. And beyond avoiding scams, it's so important to remember Sri Lanka is a predominantly Buddhist country. Showing respect for local customs is just crucial for a good experience.
Absolutely vital. When you visit any religious site, temples, caves, anything modest dress is mandatory. That means covering your shoulders and your knees, both men and women. You also always have to take off your shoes, and usually hats as well, before entering sacred areas. And this is really important. Showing any disrespect towards Buddhist images is a serious offense. Never pose for photos in a way that could be seen as disrespectful, like turning your back to a Buddhist statue or mimicking poses. It's strictly forbidden and deeply offensive. Understanding and following these simple rules goes a long way. It shows respect and enhances your own connection to the culture.
What a journey we've taken today. From the ancient heights of Sigiriya down to spotting blue whales off the coast, plus all that practical advice, we've really tried to explore how you can unlock the best of Sri Lanka.
Indeed. I think this deep dive really shows that Sri Lanka is a place that rewards travelers who go in prepared, ready to explore its many layers. Using these kinds of insights, gleaned from data and experiences, lets you move past just ticking off boxes. You can create a richer, smoother itinerary that really lets you immerse yourself in everything this incredible island has to offer.
So thinking back on everything we've discussed, what stands out most to you? Maybe it's the thought of that early morning climb up Pitarangala for the view, or the quiet reverence needed inside a Dambulla cave. Perhaps it's that fascinating glimpse into ancient engineering, or just the simple, practical wisdom of packing socks. What aspect of Sri Lanka's captivating contrasts sparks your curiosity the most? And how might these practical tips help shape your next adventure, wherever in the world that might be?